Foggy Christmas Eve, the head brewer came to say, Doppelbock with your nose so bright, I'm naming a beer after you tonight. Then how the reindeer loved him as they shouted out with glee, Doppelbock the red-nosed reindeer, you're higher in ABV.
All right. Doppelbock the red-nosed reindeer from Dave is your second choice. Your last song comes to you from Peter and Logan.
You got this?
Thanks, so.
Okay.
So this is our Christmas song, in case you don't know what to get somebody for Christmas.
So there's a lot of ideas in this song. I don't know why I'm sounding Irish either. But just listen in and don't get stuck.
The Lucky Charms. On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a beer.
On the second day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 2 turtlenecks.
And a beer. On the third day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 3 French toast.
2 turtlenecks.
And a beer.
On the fourth day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 4 pounds of back bacon.
3 French toasts.
2 turtlenecks.
And a beer. On the 5th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 5
golden toques.
4 pounds of back bacon.
3 French toast.
2 turtlenecks.
And a beer in a tree.
All right. So the 12 Days of Christmas from Peter and Logan is your third choice. So Moses, here are your choices. You've got Frosty the Drunkard from Tim Hilton. You've got Doppelbock the Red-Nosed Reindeer from Dave Basaraba. And you've got the 12 Days of Christmas from Peter and Logan. Which song do you choose?
Ooh, I think this is a hard one, Chris.
Okay.
I honestly think Frosty the Snowman is dead. That might just be the Gen Z in me. But I think it's number 3. I think that's a real song.
Thinking of going with Jen. Okay, yeah. All right. Well, you are correct. Congratulations, Moses. You've got it right. You've won our prize, free beer and a pint glass. The Great White North comedy album by Bob and Doug McKenzie, portrayed by Rick Moranis and Dave Thomas, was released in 1981. It contained their Canadian swing on the 12 Days of Christmas, and we have been forever grateful. Moses, thanks for playing. That wraps up the second part of our show. We'll now take a break and be back in a few with our special guest, Max Mendez from the Inland Northwest chapter of Beer Choir, and a game we call Not My Beer.
Woo! Yeah, take off now, you hoser. Welcome back to the Brewhouse stage at Mountain Lakes Brewing Company in downtown Spokane, Washington. This is Wheat Wheat Don't Tell Me, the MLB Beer Quiz Show. It's time for a game we call Not My Beer with your host, Chris Cindric.
All right, and now the game where we ask important people who drink beer questions about beer that their local craft brewer may not even know, just to win an audience member some free beer. It's called Not My Beer. Max Mendez has been a musician since he was 16 years old. He lived in L.A. for 10 years as a musician, focusing on opera and classical music. Max moved to Spokane in 1997 and was the director of the choir at Our Lady of Lourdes Cathedral for 10 years. For the past 15 years, he has been a professor of music and director of choir at North Idaho College. Max still travels the world singing bluegrass with a band called Kentucky Harmony and toured China twice in the past 3 years with them. Max attended a beer choir in Seattle a few years ago and fell in love with it immediately. He started the Inland Northwest Chapter Beer Choir soon after. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome tonight's Not My Beer guest, Inland Northwest Chapter of Beer Choir President Max Mendez. Well, welcome to the show, Max. To start, just a little bit more information on how, when, and why the Inland Northwest Chapter of Beer Choir formed. What's the story?
Well, the story is that beer choir is a way where you can marry a couple of different things that you like to do. Most people like to sing, right? But sometimes it's not a place you can't go to, like an official choir rehearsal, or you have to do audition. The thing about beer choir is it's non-audition. You just show up and you sing, and you're singing right away. But, most choir rehearsals don't allow you to have beer.
Right.
And so this was, that's kind of a pet peeve of mine. I want beer at my rehearsals.
Well, yeah.
Right? I can't have it. So I thought, we'll just make this. No, actually, there's a really great guy in the Midwest by the name of Michael Engelhart. And in 2015, he thought it would be a really great thing to start marrying these two things, singing and beer. It's something that happens all over the world, but in many cases it doesn't happen so much in the United States. And he wanted to change that culture. So there's about 20, 30 chapters throughout the United States that go and support really great local brewers. We come in, we sing for a couple hours, and then we go home. But what we end up doing is building a lot of community.
Right, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And so it's not just you. There's a number of people we've seen here tonight. And so who makes up? Who's your crew?
It's a great team. It's a great team. We have our team consists of Bethany Schneider, who's here doing a little live feed for our Facebook post. She takes care of a lot of the logistic things, securing locations and making sure that we get people here. And then also we have our collaborative pianist, Mr. Drew Olson. Yeah. And another gentleman, Mr. Tim Rooney, who wasn't able to be here this week, but it takes a village.
Yeah, it does, definitely. And so how often and where do you perform?
We meet about once a month. Generally it's once a month. We have a couple of rotating microbreweries, craft brewers that we go to. We go to Black Label here in Spokane. We go to Bellwether in Spokane. We also support a newer pub that serves a lot of great beer called Crown and Thistle in Coeur d'Alene. Right. And so we love supporting local business. It's usually on a Monday night. So if you had a tough Monday and you want to come out for a beer or two and sing a few songs, usually you leave in a good mood.
Right, definitely. And one of the things that I think is important to understand is beer choir isn't just a group of people that come every time. It's anybody. Right, I mean it's
absolutely. The thing about choir is really great is that people come from all different walks of life. It's a pretty diverse group who come to sing, and beer choir is no different. We have everything from boomers to millennials to Gen Zers coming and hanging out because people want to sing, they want to hang out together, but they also want to drink good beer. Right, and definitely. I think that's a great combination.
Definitely. What about your hymnal? You have a hymnal. Pass out. How does that get compiled? Where does those songs come?
A lot of the hymnal was compiled by the creator of beer choir, Michael Engelhart. But slowly but surely, each chapter starts to add a few songs. Some songs that come from different members saying, "Hey, we should sing this," a beer-oriented piece or a song or two. Sometimes it's made up words to Christmas carols and familiar songs that have to do with beer that everyone knows.
Right.
And so it's a pretty organic, but there's a great tradition of English, Irish, German drinking songs that we draw from.
Right. And do you a favorite song? Is there something? Do you have a? Favorite?
The beer choir theme song is probably one of my favorites. And actually, if you're a big fan of the Sound of Music, we have a really great beer drinking song that goes to one of those tunes.
That is a fun one. Yes, I have sung that with you guys. And then while you're doing this. You're giving your time. You're kind of creating community, a great feel for the pub vibe. What's your favorite beer to drink while you're making this happen?
I'm an amber guy, but I really do like the wheat beer that's featured today. I've really enjoyed that, and the Mountain Lakes Oktoberfest. Those are the two I've tried today, and I'm enjoying that. Excellent.
Well, Max, it has been a true pleasure talking with you. However, we have invited you here tonight to play a game we're calling Beer Choir Meet Beer Jingles. You may know some of the best beer drinking songs around, but how well do you know those old, wonderful beer jingles that used to be so popular? We're going to sing to you 3 beer jingles with the name of the beer the jingle is about missing. Name 2 of the 3 beer jingles successfully, and you'll win a prize for one of our audience members, free beer and a pint glass. Dave, who is Max playing for tonight?
You saw it happen, but this is real. We're playing for Bethany Schneider.
All right.
Woo! Yes.
It seems like every time you come to Mountain Lake, something awesome happens.
So here's how it works. Dave and I are going to sing you a beer jingle from 1970s. All of these themes come from. If you can, I'll give you then a multiple choice answers at the end if you need those training wheels, and then we'll see how well you do. Sound good?
Sounds great.
All right, here's your first jingle.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
If you've got the time, we've got the beer. What's that beer? The beer that tastes too good to hurry through. But when it's time to relax, this beer stands clear. Beer after beer. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. What's that beer? Miller beer. There you go. All right.
No training wheels necessary.
Not at all.
That tells me that we did a good job,
Yes,
Chris.
we did. Wow. We should maybe do something with this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Does it ever happen that somebody comes to beer choir and you're just like, yeah, you're not good. You need to go.
Don't worry, Tim. We're not going to.
Everybody's good, even you. We'll even get you involved.
Participation awards everywhere. Well, yes, if you've got the time, we've got the beer. Miller Beer. Back in the 70s, Miller Time needed a song, and this was their answer. The song focused on Miller High Life, and the most notable version was performed by Johnny Mack and was a hit from the start. All right, here is your second jingle.
No, actually, we rehearsed it. Could you a whole step up? Oh, that's down. That's fine. That's the way we do.
That works.
Yes. Yeah. There we go.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special. The beer we'll pour must say something more somehow. So tonight, let it be. What's that beer?
Lowenbrow.
Oh, wow. Wow, it is Lowenbrow.
Wow, that's really good because I was not singing that well.
Of all the beer jingles in the 70s, maybe this one was my favorite. In the 1970s, Lowenbrow was everywhere, and this little jingle helped make that happen. Hey, here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special. Woo! All right, here's your final jingle. When you say what? You've said a lot of things nobody else can say. When you say what? You've gone as far as you can go to get the very best. When you say what? You've said the word that means you like to do it all. When you say what? It means you want the beer that's got a taste that's number one. When you say what? You tell the world you know what makes it all the way. When you say what? You say you care enough to only want the king of beers. There is no other one. There's only something less. Because the king of beers is leading all the rest. When you say what? Beer. You've said it all. When you say what? Beer. You've said it all. The king of beer.
In his defense, it's not very popular. It's not very well known.
Budweiser.
The correct answer is Budweiser. Now, this was a commercial. It was pretty much the beer equivalent to I'd like to buy the world of Coke. Remember that one? Yeah, it was back in the day. It kind of makes me want to open a Budweiser right now. Don't you think? Oh, no, you guys got it. To the king of beers.
Yeah! Woo!
Oh, that's so good.
I wondered why. Usually Chris has a glass of water on his podium for the show, and I said, "Do you need a glass of water tonight?" And he said, "No, I've got one."
Friends, we have a very special surprise for you. The Clydesdales are about to come in through Mountain Lakes Brewing.
Well, Dave, how did Max do on our quiz?
Well, he found those obscure ones easier than the easy one, but still 3 out of 3.
All right. Max Mendez, thank you so much for joining us on Wee Wee Don't Tell Me. It's been a pleasure to talk to you. And now, do we have something special for all of you? Max and his festive crew are going to lead us through a holiday-themed beer choir, so lubricate those vocal cords. It's about to get jolly in here. Woo!
All right, welcome to Mountain Lakes Brewing.